Hello, 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 my little maniacs. This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming. Come back at you with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Bucs Seahawks game from last week. And then there will also be a little bit of bonus content at the end. So make sure to tune in for that. But anyway, guys, let's get right into it. So the Bucs obviously won this game. Final score of 38-35. Game-winning field goal by Chase McLaughlin, because that is the only way my team can freaking win a football game is by a last-minute something. Well, anyway, let's get right into it. So Baker, 29 for 33, 379 yards, 2 tutties, no picks, and only took 1 sack on the day. For honestly, Baker was efficient. The offense was efficient overall. Obviously, we put up 38 points. Can't complain about the offense. Stat wise, for running backs, we got Rashad getting 14 carries for 41 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good day for him. Would have preferred more yards on the carries, but hey, can't complain. Baker 5-15. Sean Tucker didn't get many carries. We only got 3 yards. And Cameron Johnson only had 1 carry for 2 yards, and then Sterling Shepard had a end around that went come backwards. Because of course it would. So the Bucs streak of 100-yard rushing games has broken. So sad. Anyway, receiving wise was led by Emeka Egbuka with 7 for 163, 1 touchdown. Then we also had Cade with 4 for 81, finally breaking out a little bit. Tez Johnson 4 for 59, Rashad White 4 for 30, Godwin 3 for 26, Shep 4 for 24, and then Sean Tucker, who just did nothing receiving wise. Literally nothing receiving wise. And then Tyke Smith recovered a fumble. That Jalen Milroe lost on a goofy play. A goofy play. But anyway, defensive wise, we got Levante leading the team in tackles. Then not a single sack and only 1 TFL for the entire team, which was from Levante. Yeah, Levante, like this, the whole defense as a whole was just oof. Just oof. I don't even know how to explain this defense. Like the defense just did not show up. I get we're hurt on defense, but holy frig. Nobody on defense could make a play 99% of the game. Like 99% of the game, Seattle was just driving down the field. Like they put up 35 points. Like good for Seattle's offense, but like holy crap, we couldn't stop the run, we couldn't stop the pass, we couldn't stop nothing this game. But when it all came down to it, shout out Levante getting the pick when we needed him to set up the game-winning field goal. Love you, Levante. And then shout out Chase going 3 for 3 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points. Chase got the game winner, so counted for 12 points. So at least he showed up for work today. Oh, and also shout out Emeka for not only catching a touchdown, but catching the 2-point conversion. Yeah, that's what I got there. Anyway, passing wise for Seattle. Seattle 28 for 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, which I don't know why Seattle was trying to force the throw. Like they just were not getting anything going at the end of the game there. And Tam's defense came up clutch when they needed him to. I'm not going to blame Sam Darnold for the pick, though. He played a really good game. He was efficient with the football. He got 4 touchdowns. Like, it was a good game from Sam Darnold. Like, absolutely great game from him. Rushing wise for Seattle, Kenneth Walker led the way with 10 for 86, Lawn of 31, Zach Charbonnet 9 for 36 with a 1 touchdown, and Milroe had 1 carry that wound up being a fumble because he tried to pitch it, and then the pitch was off. I think it was Charbonnet's hand. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, like not a great game for them. Anyway, receiving wise for Seattle, JSN 8 for 132 yards and the 1 touchdown. Lawn of 53 on 9 targets, so he pretty much was open every game. Every play he needed to be open. Cooper Kupp 6 for 59, AJ Barner 7 for 53 and 2 touchdowns. Torrey Horton, 3 receptions, 39 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Derek Young, 1 for 36. Zach Charbonnet, 1 for 12. Elijah Arroyo, 1 for 10. And then Kenneth Walker had 1 reception for no gain. Honestly, Seattle's offense, receiving wise, they were really good. They were really effective. They were making plays. They were finding the holes in the defense to get open. And they were just making plays where they needed to. So we already talked about the Jalen Milroe fumble. Like, it was just a bad play. They were trying to make something happen, and he pitched it, and apparently the running back wasn't ready for it and dropped the ball. It was a mess. Anyway, Seattle's defense, shout out Kobe Bryant for leading the team in the total tackles. And then TFLs from Bryant, Akata, Drake Thomas, Nick Emanwari, Tyrese Knight, Boye Mafe, Darian Kendrick. And then 1 sack on the day, which split between D'Anthony Bell and Uchenna Nwosu. Honestly, Seattle's defense, again, like, this is just a game where both defenses didn't show up. Obviously, Seattle got a sack. But, like, yeah, both defenses just decided not to show up 90% of the game. And the big difference here, honestly, was the kick returns. Seattle had 7 total for 196 yards, the Lawn of 50. They were just always starting on their own side of the field, but they were always, like, at the 45, around the 50. Like, they were always deep into their own territory, getting close to actually getting into Tampa territory. Like, it was actually kind of insane. And then, obviously, one of the bigger things, Jason Myers missed a field goal early in the game, which obviously wound up being important, but not too important because, again, they fumbled. They fumbled the game away, man. Like, obviously, threw the pick, which, again, this is not to discount Seattle at all. Like, Seattle played a great game. They absolutely could have won. Tampa absolutely could have won. Like, it was a back-and-forth contest. Like, 38-35, that's a great scoreline. Obviously, each team did great. But at the end of the day, what it came down to was the fact that just Tampa's defense was able to make a play. And I said it in my stream. I said it where it was going to come down to whichever team's defense made the bigger play. And at the end of the day, it was Tampa's defense that made a play. But anyway, guys, so now for the bonus content. So obviously I did not do a video for the Jets game or the Eagles game because obviously I was out of town for those games. We'll give quick thoughts on that. I'm not going to do a full breakdown, but we'll give quick thoughts on those. So Jets game, again, this is a game where the offense did really good in the first half, didn't show up in the second half until we needed them the most, which wound up being to get a game-winning field goal again. And special teams reared its ugly head in the Jets game, where, just could not get anything going. We had a blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown, which is what gave the Jets the lead. It was a whole mess. But highlights of the game, I did get to see Mike Evans catch a touchdown literally right in front of me, which is pretty cool. I got to see Emeka be Emeka, and I got to see the Jamel Dean pick six literally headed towards my section because I was in the end zone. So that was also really freaking cool to see. And thank God the blocked kick was going the opposite way of where I was facing, or I would have been so sad. As for the Eagles game, again, special teams reared its ugly head. We had a punt block that was returned for a touchdown by the Eagles. And then just the offense just did not show up in the first half at all. Shout out Chase McLaughlin for getting a 65-yard field goal, the longest field goal in an outdoor stadium. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, and then in the second half, the offense started clicking, started putting up points, and the defense started clicking and holding Philly off the field. And unfortunately, what it came down to is Bucky Irvin fumbling in our own territory, which set the Eagles up deep in our territory, which allowed them to run a fake tush push to get a touchdown. But it is what it is. But we lost Philly. It was a game I expected us to lose, honestly. But hey, it is what it is. When you're playing the defending Super Bowl champions, it's expected to be a hard game. And overall, we made it so Hurts didn't complete a single pass in the second half. But at the end of the day, we didn't make enough plays to win. It hurts, but it happens. And obviously, Baker threw his first pick in that game, which obviously hurt. And he was trying to force the ball in the end zone. He had many downs more to play, so he shouldn't have forced the throw. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that noti bell. On the road to 2,000 subscribers, trying to hit that by the end of the year, trying to hit 1,700 by the end of next month. Let's get it, fam, and as always, I will see all you guys later. Stay crazy, fam.